All right, the new Beach Bar coming out from Beachbody. It's a new healthy snack that I am pumped about. And I made a previous video explaining my opinion, if I'm gonna eat it, if I'm not gonna eat it, all that jazz. But today I wanted to share another video with you that really helped me. It was an interview with the creator, Dr. Luigi, who is a family medicine doctor who helped create these bars. So let's take a look and let's dive into this Q&A interview with Dr. Luigi.
Hey everybody, it's Dr. Luigi Groton here, your Group Vice President of Nutritionals at Beachbody here in Los Angeles, California. And I'm excited because we're talking about beach bars this week. We're launching this week in all 3 countries, and we want to give you a little bit of information on the beach bars before we go to launch. We've been doing a lot of training calls for many of you around the world, and folks have been asking specific questions, so we thought let's get into some of the questions you may encounter from your new coaches, from customers, or from family members and friends when you're sharing this amazing new product, Beach Bar, with them. So we're gonna get into it. By the way, let me give you a quick, for those of you who have not met me before, you don't know me, I'm a family medicine doctor. I joined the Beachbody team about 5 months ago, November 1st, 2017, and I work in the consumables. So all the products that you consume, the shakes, the bars, all that wonderful stuff, we help to brand them, market them, and make more of them for you. So I'll be looking forward to working with many of you around the world as we look into new products for the Beach Bar family, so Beachbody family. So to Beach Bar, let's talk about this exciting new bar. We are so fired up about this bar because we think it's going to be revolutionary for the business. I'm going to tell you why, because I'm taking some of your questions that you submitted early on. What makes these bars better than the ones out there on the market like RX bars? So it's really important you understand with Beach Bar, we looked at all the competitive markets specifically with snack bars. The snack bar segment in the market is $7 billion, with a B, $7 billion. That means there's a huge opportunity where Lara Bar, Cliff Bar, Kind Bar, all these wonderful bars we think are great, we know that ours is better. I'm going to tell you why. Calorie for calorie, if you think pound for pound, but calorie for calorie, our bars have higher protein, higher fiber, and less sugar. I want to say that again. Calorie for calorie, Beach Bar, compared to all the top selling bars that we looked at, like Lara Bar, Cliff Bar, Kind Bar, RX, we have more protein, more fiber, and less sugar. That's exciting. I'm going to explain why a little bit later, why those things work together to give you a low glycemic index and all these wonderful things where you'll feel sustained energy. So first off, think about why the bar is better than others in the marketplace. I think of it as a really smart snack bar. It's really intelligent snacking. And of course, you know, there's plenty of other people that play in that space, so we've got lots of opportunity. Okay, now how would I incorporate these with Shakeology? This is really important because it gets to the protein message that we talk about. And Beach Bar is incredible. It's got 10 grams of protein. We'll talk about the ingredients later. But the 10 grams is really important because the average person you're talking to may need 75 to 100 grams of protein in one day. If they're having their Shakeology every day as a healthy breakfast like I do, that's 17 grams of protein, 16 to 17. You add 10 in there with the Beach Bar, now you're looking at about 27 grams. But guess what? They may still have about 70 grams to go. So it's really important you understand from the nutrition perspective, they've got to hit their protein mark. And this is a wonderful snack that's going to help them layer on top of that healthy breakfast with Shakeology that will help them hit their protein mark for the day. Now, if you've got someone doing 80-day obsession, they may need 150, 160 grams of protein. So it's especially important that they're finding ways to get their, let's say, Shakeology, having their recover, and then we want to make sure that they're having their bar, let's say, on the refeed days, as you may have heard from Autumn, if you're doing 80-day obsession. Okay, so very important. Let's say, does Beach Bar replace my daily Shakeology? Absolutely not. It layers on top of what you're doing with Shakeology as a healthy breakfast. And again, think of that massive snack bar category, $7 billion. But even more, think about the snacks that are currently in the marketplace. If you're talking to a family member or friend, they're probably having potato chips because potato chips are the #1 snack that we know of on just about every top 10 list. That's loaded with salt, loaded with bad fats, and it's got no great protein or fiber in it. So of course, we would rather someone have a Beach Bar than a bag of chips. Okay, so think about that as the alternative. Does it replace Shakeology? No, it's gonna layer on top because Shakeology is your foundational nutrition for the day, providing you with those 16 to 17 grams of protein, and it's your daily dose of dense nutrition, as you all know. Okay, and of course you can find a lot of great Shakeology breakfast recipes on the blog. Okay, are these bars recommended for kids as well? Absolutely yes. I've got a daughter who's 4.5 years old. She's been testing. She's been my test case for the bars. She absolutely loves them. Kids can use them. Everyone in the family can use these bars. They're phenomenal. They're delicious. And you're going to see they're going to be really easy to sell. How many carbohydrates in Beach Bar? There's 14 grams of carbohydrates, but importantly, 4 grams of fiber. You're not going to see that in a lot of bars in the marketplace, and only 5 to 6 grams of sugar. The chocolate cherry almonds got 6 grams of sugar, and the peanut butter chocolate's got 5 grams of sugar. But think about it. That sugar, blended with 10 grams of protein and 4 grams of fiber, gives us the low glycemic index, which means the bar, when you eat it, it's slowly metabolized into the body, you get sustained energy, and you feel great. That's why these are such great bars, intelligent snacks, and of course, we think the best in the marketplace. Now, how many grams of fat are in Beach Bar? So you'll see on the label, there's a little under 7 grams of fat. Now, fats are important. They're essential in the human body. They're super healthy. They're important for your brain, for your heart, for your skin. Everything that you think of in your body, you need fat because it makes up the cells. But we want to make sure you're getting the right types of fats. Remember how we talked about potato chips? Those have got bad fats in them, trans fats that are chemically modified fats. They make those chips taste good, but they do terrible things in the body. So of course, we want to concentrate on the healthy fats. Those are the monounsaturated fats you're going to see right on your label, and the polyunsaturated fats. And those are from things like sunflower and palm kernel, sustainable palm kernel oil. So we're very excited about that. Super healthy fats, great for the body, essential in the human body, and of course they're in the bar, so we're happy. More questions here. What ingredients are in the bars? Well, think about the bars. We've got whey crisps, we've got pea protein crisps, so that's your major source of protein, but we also made this from these wonderful wholesome ingredients like almonds and almond butter, peanuts and and those nut butters, and of course we use cherries for the chocolate cherry almond, and you'll notice other things like pomegranate. So you'll see all these really cool things on the label because we want wholesome ingredients which give you great nutrition in the body. And of course you're going to feel that when you have the bar, but more importantly, you're going to taste it because the bar tastes so good. Guys, I've been telling everybody that I stopped drinking coffee a couple years ago because I was like, I'm going to give up coffee. And with these bars, they taste so good, mid-afternoon snack, I reached for a cup of decaf coffee. I started back on coffee just because these bars taste so good and they go so well together. So you're gonna find plenty of opportunities to have these bars as a wonderful snack. Remember, all those customers having potato chips, they're having them twice a day, get them off the chips on Beach Bar. And of course, we want them to replace those other bars they may be using in the marketplace. Okay, more questions. Does Beach Bar contain soy? So we want to think of a couple things. There's no soy protein. We do not use any soy protein nor any soy fats like soy lecithin. Very important because we want you to understand that we stay away from the genetically modified soy protein and any of those ingredients. So a lot of people asked about that, and of course we are not using those in the bar. We use the whey protein crisps and the pea protein crisps. Now, why do we use whey and pea? The whey gives us a full complement of amino acids, which means you get all your essential amino acids, so that's going to help you build your lean muscle. And the pea protein is a wonderful plant-based protein, which also contributes great amino acids, so you've got all the nutrition you need. So we wanted to have a blend, and that's really important. Next question, are these bars gluten-free? Yes, the bars are gluten-free, and you can sing that from the mountaintop and go promote that with your customers and new coaches because we think that's a really important selling point. So gluten-free bars, yes. Are the bars nut-free? No, we've got almonds and peanuts in the bars, and of course chocolate cherry almond and chocolate peanut, and we're excited about that. Will the bars be available in Canada and the UK? Yes. We're launching in the US, Canada, and the UK. I know people are cheering everywhere. Coaches are excited, and many of you already knew that, but it's great because you're getting a kickstart on your business. You're getting a kickstart on the nutrition for your family and your friends. Do you have any plans to launch vegan bars in the future? I thought this was a great question because we heard throughout 80 Day Obsession a lot of people asking about non-dairy options. So the quick answer is we're looking into it. We've heard many of you express interest in vegan and non-dairy, so we're looking into that, and give us some time to investigate that. How many bars come in one carton? So here's a carton. We're very excited. 15 bars. I'm going to do a little unveiling, all right? Kind of like when my kids watch those little, those shows where they can unwrap the gift. Take a look. You'll see 15 bars. I actually took one out this morning and nibbled on it, and I've got some to the side. But a beautiful unveiling, and you can take the bars out. You'll notice 15 stacked up beautifully. And of course, you can order the 1, 2, or 3 cartons. Super excited about that. Where will I be able to buy these bars, or when? These bars are going on sale this Friday at midday Pacific Standard Time. So we're here in California, coming to you live. Midday Pacific Standard Time, the bars are going on sale. That means if you're on the East Coast, or if you're East Coast of Canada, or you're in the UK, consider those time changes, the time differences, in terms of when we launch the bar. But we really wanted to make sure we get the bar early, and of course we're going into Super Saturday, so we're really excited, okay? So now one last question, and then we can take some of your questions. What's the portion fixed container count for the bar? It's a half red, half yellow, and a teaspoon of healthy fats, or I should say oils and nut butters, but I think of them as great healthy fats, okay? So those are the questions we wanted to zip through. Want to see if we can take some, and Kate's going to read some of them as she's holding the camera. While she's doing that, I'm going to unwrap one of these bars so you can see what they look like, because everyone's so excited. So go ahead, Kate. Any questions for us?
What's the sweetener?
Yes. Okay, so we use, there we go. I want you guys to see what the bar looks like. Here we go. Okay. So we've got, you're going to notice the bar. So here's your chocolate cherry almond, and here is your peanut butter chocolate. And like I mentioned earlier, 14 grams of carbohydrates, 4 grams of fiber, 5 to 6 grams of sugar. And the sugar that we get, you'll notice, so you'll see things like tapioca. Now, you probably all had tapioca pudding when you were a kid, but tapioca not only provides a sweetener, it also provides a prebiotic. So we want to stay away from all the bad stuff that you see in other bars, like high fructose corn syrup, saccharin, NutraSweet, aspartame, all those artificial sweeteners, Ace K. We don't use any of those in our products, nor do we use those in the bars. But you'll notice things like tapioca on the label, which are natural forms of prebiotic and can act as a sweetener as well. And again, think about the 5 to 6 grams of sugar, which is relatively low. That's only 20 calories. And 20 calories is about 1/5 of a piece of fruit, so it's not much. There's your bars there. Yeah, more questions.
Some people are joining a little bit late and are asking how much protein.
Yeah, so great question. Think 10 grams of protein. You're going to find them right on your label, okay, right there on the box. 10 grams of protein in each bar. You can check the labels. And remember, the big story with these are for every 150 calories, which is one bar, pound for pound, like I said earlier, calorie for calorie, we have a very competitive higher amount of protein, higher amount of fiber, and lower amount of sugar than many of the bars you'll see in the marketplace that are very popular. So again, 10 grams of protein, but when you compare that to the 150 calories, okay, you're going to notice that right on the top, that is much lower in terms of the amount, the total calories is lower than many of the bars you'll see, and calorie for calorie, we have a lot more grams of protein. And of course, we're not trying to shove a bunch of protein to folks, but we want to make sure it's a clean source of protein and it meets the requirements that you need for a healthy, active lifestyle.
Are they certified low glycemic?
Yes, great question. What does glycemic index actually mean? So a lot of folks, for those of you in Canada, there's a doctor who created this glycemic index. And it simply means, without nerding out here and getting too scientific, that when you eat something, let's say like drink a can of soda, or you eat a spoonful of sugar, the sugar goes into the body very rapidly and then it drops. So that causes hunger, it causes a spike and crash. That's what we call a high glycemic index. Low glycemic index means that foods slowly get metabolized into the body and they give you sustained energy. Think a bowl of lentils. Whenever I watch Darren train, he talks about eating a bowl of lentils. That's a low glycemic index food, sustained energy, you feel great, no crash. Our bars are low glycemic index, and that's a really great thing.
Do they help keep you full?
Yes, they help keep you full for a number of reasons. So the bars help with satiety and keeping you full because protein, when it gets broken down, I've got my bars here, but I'm gonna keep it. And remember, if you're looking at the label, for those of you just tuning in, the 10 grams of protein there, but protein's really important and fiber's really important, you're gonna notice here. Those two things are really important for satiety because if you think about 10 grams of protein, protein gets broken down into things called amino acids. And amino acids go to the brain and they tell your brain, I'm satisfied, I don't need to eat more. This great thing is when you mix that with fiber, fiber also gives you fullness and satiety in the body. So the protein mixed with the fiber is the reason why we have this wonderful low glycemic index and you feel sustained energy and you feel full.
Great, and then for people joining late, how many flavors are there?
Yes, there are 2 flavors. We have chocolate cherry almond and we have chocolate peanut butter. I'm surrounded by the bars here. So you've got both flavors. They're equivalent in calories. They're both 150 calories. They're both 10 grams of protein. They're both 4 grams of fiber. But again, the chocolate cherry almond has got 6 grams of sugar. The peanut butter chocolate has 5 grams of sugar, okay? So I just want to make that distinction. But pretty much across the board, you're going to notice almost the exact same ingredients and the exact same composition of this delicious bar.
Are these good for pre-workout, post-workout, or whenever?
So great question. Good for pre-workout, post-workout, or for whenever. I think of this as great for just about any type of pre or post-workout. But again, think of it as a snack. Many of you are eating bars already, and many of your customers are having bars. And so you want to make sure you can replace that existing bar they're having with our bar because it's a better snack. It's just a better bar. But when you think about which program you're doing in Beachbody, remember if you're doing 80-day obsession, and many of you know we're coming out with some new programs soon, which are really going to sort of highlight the bars as part of the meal plans. So think about where the bar fits in the workout and where it fits in the program. But think of this as a healthy snack bar, a smart snack bar that you can use throughout the day. I like to use it twice a day. I'll use one before lunch and I'll have one mid-afternoon, but I also do a Shakeology for breakfast and a Shakeology before I drive home for dinner. So it really matters, it depends on where you want to place it in your program.
Okay, and we have time for 1 or 2 more questions. The next one is, are there any preservatives?
So this is a great question, any preservatives. So if you think of the entire line of Beachbody products, we don't use any artificial flavors, colors, and no preservatives in the company products. So just think about your recover. If you've ever spilled a glass of Energize or Hydrate, and it's like that super bright color, that's a natural coloring. That's a natural phytonutrient that we use to actually give texture, color, and flavor to the product. And it's important because we want to go all natural with all of our products. So no, the answer is no preservatives, no artificial colors, flavors, sweeteners, or preservatives in Beach Bar. The same way we don't do that with any of the products.
Great, and last question, are they available in Canada?
Yes, the question is, are they available in Canada? And as we were saying earlier, coaches are super excited because we're launching in all 3 markets, Canada, the UK, and of course US, but we're launching Pacific Standard Time. Think corporate headquarter time here in Los Angeles, okay? We're gonna launch these on the 6th, that's this Friday, midday they'll be for sale. And a lot of you around the world are having Super Fridays, so you may see the bars, available at that time, but if you're doing a Super Saturday or a Super Sunday, for sure you'll probably be ordering the bars by then.
Helped a ton, right? I know it answered a lot of questions I had because you gotta do your research. You gotta research what you're putting in your body. So if you have any questions at all, just take a look at my contact information in the description of this video, and I'm more than happy to chat, answer any questions back and forth with you too.